After 4 centuries of bondage, a nation was on the move. Fleeing the might of Egypt, the Israelites journeyed into the unknown, their path lit by a pillar of divine fire. They carried with them not just their meager possessions, but the heavy weight of their past and the fragile hope of a promised future. Their freedom, however, was a fleeting illusion. In his opulent palace, Pharaoh's heart hardened with regret and fury. He had let his workforce, his entire slave class, simply walk away. He would not suffer this humiliation. "They are entangled in the land," he declared. "The wilderness has shut them in." He summoned his finest soldiers, the pride of his kingdom, 600 elite chariots and the full might of the Egyptian army, thundering out from the city gates in a storm of dust and iron, intent on dragging the Hebrews back to their chains. The Israelites marched until their path was halted by an impassable barrier, the vast churning waters of the Red Sea. Trapped. Before them, the endless sea. Behind them, the rapidly approaching dust cloud that signaled their doom. The ground trembled with the beat of thousands of hooves. Panic erupted through the crowd. Cries of terror and despair rose up, a people cornered and facing annihilation. They turned on Moses, their voices laced with fear and accusation. "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die?" But Moses stood firm, a rock of faith amidst a sea of fear. He climbed upon a promontory, his gaze fixed not on the approaching army, but on the heavens. He raised his voice over the terrified cries of his people, a beacon of unwavering conviction. "Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord." Then, as Moses stretched his hand out over the sea, a powerful east wind began to howl across the water. All through the night it blew, a force of unimaginable power. The surface of the sea began to churn and boil, and then the impossible happened. The waters divided. They were drawn up as if by an unseen hand, forming 2 immense liquid walls that towered into the sky. Between them, the seabed was transformed into dry ground, a corridor of salvation carved through the heart of the deep. Hesitantly at first, then with growing awe, the Israelites stepped onto the path. They walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, the walls of water a bulwark to their right and to their left. Families clung to one another, their faces illuminated by a divine light filtering through the translucent walls, where the creatures of the deep were suspended in their aquatic world. It was a passage not just of geography, but of the soul, from slavery to liberation. Blinded by rage, the Egyptians charged after them into the very heart of the miracle, their chariot wheels bogging down in the miraculously softened seabed. They saw only a path, not the power that had made it. As the last of the Israelites set foot on the far shore, Moses once again stretched out his hand. The divine energy holding back the sea receded. The towering walls of water trembled, lost their form, and collapsed with a deafening roar, swallowing the entire Egyptian army. The chariots, the horses, the pride of a mighty empire, all were consumed by the returning sea. As the sun rose on a new day, the waters were calm. On the far shore, a nation stood in stunned silence, gazing at the empty sea. They were no longer slaves. They were free. Their journey had just begun.